Hey everybody, here's a video about how to make the 2-level assignment that we have in class that we do at the beginning of game design. So to start off, go on over to your desktop and you're going to see something that looks like this, Epic Games. Double click on that and this Epic Games launcher will open up. From here, click on the Unreal Engine. You may need to log in. If you have to log in with Google using your school account. Once you log in, you click on Unreal Engine and you click on Launch right here. Once it's launched, if you have not made a game yet, it probably will take you directly to the game section here. If you have made a game, you'll probably be brought back to this recent projects and you probably can see the game that you've made in the past. Here's all the games that I've worked on. But if you're just doing this for the first time, click on Games. And then we're going to do a third-person game, so click on Third Person. And then over here on the right, make sure it says Blueprint. And then the target platform is going to be Desktop. We want quality preset maximum. And then starter content, we want this checked. We want starter content to be there. Finally, down here, it says project location. This is where we're going to save our project. If you click on this folder here, you want to go to your D drive. So under this PC, you'll see D drive. And then here, I right-click, say New Folder, and create a new folder that's like Unreal Games or something like that, so you know where your games are stored. I called mine Unreal Projects. So I have a new folder here called Unreal Projects. I selected it. You'll see Unreal Projects here. And then here in project name, I'm calling this My First Game. Now, I don't have any spaces here. If I add a space, you'll see there's this thing that says, oh, you can't have spaces. In Unreal, we can't use spaces. So I just did My, capital M, First, capital F, and Game, capital G. And then click Create to create your first game. Once you start off, you should see something like this. To start playing, hit play, and allow you to test your game. So you kind of walk around. My guy looks a little bit different. It's because I'm using a project here that I've been using before. You might have another person that you're looking at. So it allows you to kind of walk around and to test out what you've already built. To move, I'm holding down right-click, and I'm using W to go forward, S to go back, A to go left, D to go right. E goes up, Q goes down. I'm holding down right-click while I do this, and right-click allows me to look around. So I'm looking around with right-click. From here, I've got, this is my area where I'm building things. Over here on the left is, on the right is my aligner. Here's everything in my level. And then details are the details of anything I have selected. So if I select this box and I move this up, here are the details. It has my location of this box. It has the rotation, it has the scale, a whole bunch of details about this specific box. Now you may not have this place actors thing over on the left. If you go to Windows and then go down here to place actors, it will pop up right here. We're going to be using this a lot. So the first thing we want to do is we want to create a new level, which will be your first level. So I want to go to File, New Level, and then we're just going to say Basic. Hit Create. As soon as we make this level, you're going to want to save it. So if I click on Save, it's going to say, okay, great. What do you want to save the level as? I've got a few levels here already. I'm going to save this one. I'm going to call this Level 1. This is now called Level 1. And I have this big kind of open area here. Now what I can do is inside this open area, with my place actors, I'm going to click on Geometry here. I'm going to bring in a box. So now I have a box here. When I click play, I'll see, here's my box there, right? Kind of bumping into it. Can't really jump over it though. Maybe what if I do want to jump over it? Maybe I can make this box a little bit smaller to jump over. So I'm going to click on this box, and then I'm going to scroll down, and you'll see in brush settings, you have your X. If I click and hold, you can see it changes. My X size, my Y changes, and my Z. I'm going to make it a little bit thinner, and I'm going to bring it down. Right now I'm holding this arrow to bring it down. If I hold the blue arrow, I go up and down. If I hold the red arrow, left and right. And the green arrow kind of back and forth. If I want to rotate this box, I click on rotate. It allows me to rotate. If I want to scale this box, I use scale. It's basically multiplying these numbers to make it go bigger. It stretches it out. I don't like stretching the boxes, so I don't really scale that much. You see what I did just then to bring it back was I did Control Z. That is undo. So if you do something you don't want to do, I push Control and Z at the same time, and it brings it back. Now I've got a box. I can put another box in, maybe next to it, here. And then maybe I want to bring in another box here. Bring it up. You kind of climbing up these stairs here type thing. If I hold down Alt and click on the arrow, it'll make a copy. I just held down Alt while I moved it. So now I kind of got this area where I can walk over and I can jump. It's kind of fun. What if I want to make sure that my player always starts right in front of this so I can see up there? So I'm going to say I want my player to start on this block here. I'm going to click on the basic and I'm going to say player start and I'm going to drop it right here. And now I have this player start right here. You'll see it says bad size. The reason it says bad size is because it's inside the floor here. So I need to bring it up a little bit. Now I've got this player start. When I hit play, I'm now facing that way. I don't really want to face that way. I'd like to actually rotate this so he faces, see the arrow there? I want the arrow facing my stairs. Hit play, so now I have stairs I'm going up. That's cool. And going back down. Now, I can take this bottom area here and delete it. So now I have this kind of area where we can kind of fall in this pit. What I'd like you to do is go ahead and make a little area where the player can jump, kind of move in a certain direction and create a platformer. So maybe I'll go ahead and copy this and move this over here. Maybe I have another one here. I'm making kind of a platform jumper here. I'm holding down Alt to move this one here. Maybe like this, like that. And finally I'm going to have one here, but I'm going to make this really big. So I'm going to go back to my brush settings. I'm going to bring this up like this. So like a really big place to land on here. So now when I hit play, I can come up, jump, I gotta jump to this, I'm gonna jump to that one, and then that one, and then that one, and then I'm here. Go ahead, pause this video for a minute, and create some sort of platforming level. Alright, so now we're back. What I like to do is inside this area, I like to create some sort of indoor location, right? Something that we can kind of go inside. So if I go to this geometry, I bring in another box, or actually, I want to do a cone this time, because I think cones are kind of cooler looking. And then I take the Z of my cone and make it pretty tall, and I take my outer radius, make it pretty wide. You'll see if I scroll down a little bit, you'll see it says that the brush type is additive. That means it's adding geometry to my level. If I grab a box and I put it right here, say right in front of it, and inside it a little bit, something like this. This brush type here, with this selected, is also additive. If I change it to subtractive, it'll cut into whatever I've got, whatever geometry I've got there, kind of cuts into it. I'm going to go ahead and scale this out a bit so I can cut pretty far in there. And I'm going to, you can kind of see in here, I'm going to click on my cone here, and then make this cone hollow. If I select hollow, here, my cone is then going to be hollow. You can see kind of inside. God, I should probably raise that up a little bit. Let me see how do I do that. The inner radius, change that to be bigger. You'll see here my inner radius and my cap, I'm kind of changing the inside of it now. It's getting a little bit complex. So now I have this kind of big thick wall, I can walk inside and I have this area here. That's kind of neat, right? You can do the same thing with boxes. If I brought in a box here, this is automatically additive. If I make this a bit bigger, maybe too big, like this, and I put another box here, and I make this subtractive. So this box I'm going to make, instead of additive, subtractive, and this box I'm going to make hollow. You'll then see I can have this big hollow box inside. It's kind of neat. I'm going to leave just this. I'm going to delete those two. I just clicked on them and I hit delete in the top right corner. I'm just going to make this my little pyramid here, which is cool. And then what I want to do is maybe add some materials. So materials, if I hit Control Shift, it brings up my content browser. This is where all my assets for my entire game live. All my levels are going to live here. Anything I bring into the game is going to live here. So even if I'm not using it in this level here, every part of it, every piece that my game needs is going to be here. When I click on content, I'm going to go over to, you'll see starter content, and then I can go into materials, and here I have materials that I can drag. So if I want like a grassy floor, I just drag that material on, and my floor should turn to grass. There we go. If I want like a stone wall here, this wall is now stone. I want kind of a little stone walkway too. I can do that for this part here. Oh, I think I go like this. A stone walkway here. So I can add materials, kind of bring in some color. So now when I start my level, it should look something like this. Up here, here, here. Look at that. That's pretty sweet. And gotta go into my little house here. Pretty neat. Alright, so from here, this is my level 1. Now I've got to move on and make a level 2. So I'm going to say File, New Level. This one I'm going to make it an empty level, completely empty, and say Create. This empty level has nothing in it. There's nothing at all. If I take a box and I bring it in from, you'll notice also it automatically puts in whatever material you have selected. So I have the stone selected, it'll automatically make it stone. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this, I'm going to put this kind of in the center of my level. So in location, I'm going to say 0, 0, 0. And then instead of 200, I'm going to make this like 1,000. And then I'll make this, I'll leave this at 200, and then I'll make my Z, let's say 10. I'm just going to make a little walkway here. Got a walkway, I'm going to put my player start right at the beginning of my walkway. My arrow is facing that way. I want to turn it around so that my arrow faces the way that I'm walking, and I want to move this maybe to the center here. So now what happens is when I hit play, I can't see anything. There's nothing there. I mean, I can see some lights coming off my player, but there's nothing there. There's no light to see. So if I click on lighting here, lights, and I bring in a point light, see suddenly I get this cool add lighting to my level. Once I have the light selected, I can change the intensity. This is how bright it is. I don't want it too bright. I can change the color. Let's say I want a little bit, kind of a little reddish. Not too reddish like that. I can change the attenuation radius. How far does it go? Maybe something like this. And then I can make a copy. I'm holding an Alt, and I'm moving my mouse over. I'm going to hold on Alt and move my mouse over again. Here I'm going to hold on Alt and move this over. So now I've got this kind of walkway the player can walk on. I'm going to make a little bit of a maze. I'm going to turn my... I made a copy there. Maybe set something up so that there's two areas to go to. One leads to a dead end maybe. The other one doesn't. So we've got this kind of walkway that the player can walk down. Here we're going to want to add some walls. Now we're going to get into what are called megascans. This is a really powerful add-on for Unreal 5. So if I go to my content browser and I click on content and I right-click, I say add Quixel content, it'll bring up this screen for me. Now the first thing we want to do is make sure you're logged in. So if you click on up here, to sign in with Google. You can then go get 3D assets, and I'm going to go to an interior assets. These are really cool assets here. I'm going to say like they have all these cool windows and walls and what have you. I'm going to grab like I don't know. Let's get a cool looking wall. I'm going to do interior ceiling decorations. Let's say wall, and I'm going to grab this interior wall. When I click on the wall, right now, you have a bunch of different options in terms of the quality. You don't want to do nanite or high quality. It's just going to slow your computer down and might even crash. You want to keep it at low quality. Once you're there, if you haven't signed in yet, you'll see something like this as sign in. Just clicking sign in. I'm now signed in. And then I can click download. And it'll take a second to download. Once it's downloaded, you'll see this check here, and then you'll see add. Add allows you to add it to your project. So when I click on add, it'll be added to my project. Might take a second. And you might have a screen that pops up that kind of shows you it. You can just close that screen. I'm going to go ahead and there it is over here on the side. Here's a screen that shows me it. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to show you where it is in your content folder. So if you click on content, this, the content drawer here, or control space brings it up. And then go to Megascans, and then go to 3D assets. And I have quite a few I've already downloaded. You'll see them in here. So I have a modular wooden chair. I have wooden ceiling here. What did I do? I did wooden interior wall. This one here I just made. And I think it's that one. Is it that one? No, I don't think it's that one. Let's see. Wooden interior wall. Let's see. Modular interior wall. I think it was this one. So now I can take this and bring this out and put this into my game. And you'll notice here, look, it's like I can see through it, but look at the other side. That is called optimization. There's no reason why we need to put a bunch of stuff on the back here. It could be completely see-through, because nobody's going to see the back. You're going to be putting it on the sides there. We've got these walls here, right? And going across. I'm just holding an Alt and then clicking to make these copies. And I'm going to click on one of them, and I'm going to hold down Shift, and it selects multiples. And then I'm going to hold down Alt and rotate, and look at this, I just made a copy, rotate it all the way around, and I'm going to move it over here. So now when I hit play, ooh, I'm going on this like corridor. It's kind of cool. Now check it out. There's a little bit of an issue here. If I go into my wall, I can just walk right through it. And the reason why I can walk right through it is, let me actually see. Also, if you get lost here, one of the things you can do is like just double click on any object here, and I'll zoom in out to it. The thing is these don't have any collision to it. And collision is basically programming saying, Okay, I know what this thing looks like, right? But are you allowed to walk through it or not? Adding collision would set up a situation where you're not allowed to walk through it. So I'm going to go back to it here and I'm going to open it up. Double click to open it up. And you can see it here. Here it is. If I click on collision, I can add, there's all this different types of collision. If I add sphere collision, it draws a big circle around it, a big sphere around it, and the player will not be able to get into that. They bump into that, they won't be able to get into that. That doesn't feel right for me for this because you won't be able to get close to it. So I'm going to hit delete. I'm going to add box collision, and that just puts a box around it. If I wanted something a little bit tighter, so I'm going to hit delete, I could do collision, I could do simplified. This will get it a little bit tighter. Just kind of, you can see the angles a little bit tighter. I don't need anything that tight, so I'm just going to go with box collision for this. But for some others, you might need it. I'm going to hit save, and then I'm going to hit play, and now I can't walk through. I'm walking down the hallway, which is kind of cool. And I've got this maze I'm kind of building out. What I'd like you to do is take some time to build out a complete maze. Maybe put a ceiling on there too, right? A complete maze of maybe like an inside house. So take a minute, build something out, and then we'll move on to what's next. Okay, so if you've taken some time to build out your maze, you should have now level 1 and level 2. This is your level 2, so let's save this. Call this level 2. Save. And now what you want to do is you want to create, we're going to create something which will take us from level 1 to level 2. So I'm going to go back to my content. I'm going to go back to level 1, so I have level 1 open. Here's my level 1. Here, I'm going to make a blueprint. And a blueprint is the most, is basically the power behind Unreal, is the ability to make these blueprints. So I have a folder here called Blueprints. And I want you to create a blueprint that tells us to go to level 2. The way that we're going to do that is create a new folder called Blueprints, and then in the blank area of that folder, go ahead and say Blueprint Class. From there, click Actor, and we're going to call this Go to Level 2. Open it. It might take a second. Once it's open, you're going to see you have an event graph and a viewport. A viewport is showing you what this blueprint looks like when it's in the level. The event graph is going to show you the coding for this blueprint. So in the viewport, we're going to click underneath components, add a static mesh. And this static mesh is like, what does it look like? It's like a mesh. It's a 3D model. The static mesh, we're going to change this. We're going to type in door. And I have this like door frame I'm going to use. I like this door frame here. So I've got this door frame I brought in, and then I'm going to add a box. My box collision. And that box collision is like, okay, what's going to happen when something collides with this? I'm going to have this box. What's going to happen when something collides with this? So in my event graph, I have event begin play. I do not need that. And I have event tick. Do not need that. But I have this event actor begin overlap. When an actor walks into this box, I want something to happen. I want to pull from here, and I want to type in open level by name. And the name of the level, I need to look at, what did I name the level? I named it level _2. That's what I named my level. I need to have it exactly the same right here. So I'm going to say level, capital L, _2. Now I've got this here. So now I'm going to hit compile, make sure there's no errors. It looks like it's good. Save it. Now I can drop this into my level. So I go to my blueprints. As I go to level 2, I can drop this into my level. I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to put it like right in this doorway here. So I kind of walk into this doorway. And maybe I'll scale it up a little bit so it's kind of wide into this doorway. So now when I hit play, I start off, I jump on these little guys here. Ooh, hold on a second, let me try again. Play. See if we get all the way here, and now when I walk in and I collide, it takes me to my level 2. What you need to have is by the end of this assignment, you need to have 2 levels that are connected using a blueprint here, a go-to level blueprint. An example of this, something that looks pretty good, you should be shooting for, is I'll show you. Inside my maps, I've got something like this. I've got a level. I've been using a lot of mega scans in this level. I jump on these stumps here. Whoa. Hold on. Just shoot back. Here we go. The animations for this guy's a little messed up. Oh, man. Up here. Here, there we go. And they have this big doorway here they can walk into. It opens up level 2. Level 2, I'm kind of underground. I've got these wings. I've got this kind of maze set up. I can't get this way. I go find another way. Oh, maybe there's like something down here, and you continue on through this maze. This is what you should be aiming for. Something like this. Big platformer followed by a maze with a blueprint that connects them. Good luck.